Welcome to your General College Biology course, Biology 1111. I'm going to go ahead and show you everything you need to know about this course. So first of all, let's go ahead and log in. You are on your main Pikes Peak page. Let's go ahead and hit the login. So now you can find your D2L, your desire to learn, basically your courses there. In this semester, the course is a combined course, meaning it's actually two sections combined in one course shell. So it's section 1 and 1 and also section 1 and 2. Before we get started, I want you to grab a piece of paper and a pencil or pen. And throughout this video, you're going to see several animal icons pop up, okay? I want you to write down what animal it was on that piece of paper and make sure you maintain the order because at the end of the video, you're going to collect all of those animals in the order that they were presented in this welcome video. And there will be a question on the syllabus quiz regarding those animals and the order. So make sure that you watch the entire welcome video. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So first, we are in your course. As you can see here, this is your course home. This is where you're going to find your announcements. You have content. That's where you're going to get all of your documents for the course. Assignments. This is where you're going to submit all your assignments, such as labs and so forth. Discussions, because this specific course is an online course, you will have discussions. Now, if this is for future courses and that doesn't apply to you, don't worry about it, but I'm giving you the same video. Um, so we also have quizzes. You will find all your chapter quizzes there. You will also find, in the case of your online class, midterm and the final. In the case of if this were an on-campus class, your midterm and final would take place on campus. But the online class, all of your assessments, quizzes, finals, midterms are here. Gradebook, please make sure that you're checking your gradebook often. And class list, you can see who is in your class and you can talk with certain people, send a message, etc. So let's go ahead and get started in that course home. So in the course home, you're going to find announcements. And it's ultra important that you are looking at the announcements all the time. You should be reading your announcements daily, at least for the first few weeks. Now, once we get a little later in the semester, it's usually a couple of times a week that I'll post an announcement. So make sure you're getting on at least every other day because everything I put in announcements, students are held to. So if you miss something in the announcements, then unfortunately, that's your responsibility. So here we go. Here is your 1111. In this case, like I said, this is the online course. And so this is asynchronous. So what asynchronous means is you do not have a meeting time with me. This is a self-study guided online course. I give you everything that you need as far as textbooks, supplements, lots of videos, and then that way it's a guide itself online. But don't worry, I'm still here in your course. You're going to ask me questions. It's not just an open-ended course either. There are very specific due dates, and we cover everything according to the weeks on the syllabus. There's no work ahead in this class, okay? Alrighty, it's very fast. Let's just go ahead and be honest. This is a very fast-paced course. We have to get started right away, okay? Unfortunately, I don't hold up for students. It's your responsibility to check your course schedule and your due dates. So what you have is your lecture documents, your ebook, your course schedule, and your due dates. You're going to find those in the contents folder. We're going to cover that pretty soon. You have assignments that are due right away this week. Your first assignment is to watch this video. I'll actually have a video link here. You have to watch this video that we're in right now, read the syllabus, take the syllabus quiz, and this is due by Friday, January 24th. Basically, it gives you the opportunity to see if this is the right course for you. This is a science majors course. So science majors course, what that means, it is It is the perfect course to take before you go into any nursing programs and take anatomy and physiology, any doctor's programs. If you are a science major, it is required as a science major. So having that said, this course has very high standards. Okay. This is not a basic biology course. If you're not a science major, this is not the appropriate course for you. Now, can you take the course? Sure, you can. It will be applied to your general science major, but I'm just letting you know that this is a higher level course with high expectations to that. So keep that in mind as you embark on this journey. So, next thing is because this course specifically is a online course, there's going to be discussions. Your first week's discussion, introduce yourself. Here's your discussion right here, intro discussion. It's very specific on what I ask you to do. Your discussions have a window. They open on Monday of the week that they're assigned, and it will close on Sunday of the week that it's assigned. This semester, we are not in class on Monday. It's going to open one day late. It's going to open on Tuesday. No worries. So with that, you should be posting your first discussion post within 3 days of the discussion opening. Because it's a late week, it's a short week. If it opens on Tuesday, Thursday is the third day. You got Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's 3 days to get your discussion post in. That's your original. Now, throughout that, you should also participate a minimum of 2 replies on 2 different days than each other, and different days than the original post. So that means you will have a total of 3 different days of participation. Okay. I provided a rubric for you. So let's go ahead and go back to the main page. So with that, mastering biology. So mastering biology is where you find your ebook and also some possible extra credit, okay? So with that possible extra credit, it is actually in your benefit to do what is called dynamic study modules. Those dynamic study modules are essentially learning, they are essentially learning modules that teach you what you don't know. And you don't know what you don't know until they tell you what you don't know. So it's going to be found within your ebook links. And this takes you to your ebook. I'll go ahead and show you where this is. It's found in your contents tab. And there'll be a separate Pearson Mastering Biology tutorial that I'll go ahead and link in the announcements a little bit later. It'll just be a separate video. Okay, so with that, there is an assignment there waiting for you, and it is due by Friday, January 24th. So make sure that you're clicking into it, going to that assignment, completing it right away. It's just a tutorial on how to use it in addition to my tutorial. Okay, so the next assignment is to download Respondus. Respondus is an AI proctoring test tool that is on D2O. So with that, it's going to be found in the quizzes tab. And then after you download it, you are going to take the Respondus, it's a quiz. Take this Respondus quiz. The thing about the Respondus quiz, it's very general, okay? It'll tell you what to expect for your Respondus, just going through. Then all of the questions, watch the following video. Identify if there's anything, blah, blah, blah. So it's going to teach you what you're needing to do in that Respondus and the use of it when you're taking your exams. You do not use Respondus for your chapter quizzes, but you will be using Respondus for your midterm, your final, and your lab practicals. Okay, so with this, to take that quiz, it is due by January 24th, Friday, 11:59 p.m. If you miss it, you miss the points. So next, Respondus, this is really important, does not work with Chromebook. Okay, in addition, I am not enabling the use of iPads with Respondus either. So if you only have an iPad to work in this class or a Chromebook, I'm just letting you know it will be essential that for your coursework, you need to use the computers at the campus computer center. Not only is this important for the use of Respondus, but also for the use of your lab reports, because your lab reports, if you have Chromebook or your iPad is a little iffy, you cannot download Office 365. And we'll talk about the lab report requirements in a separate video. Google Chrome is the best browser to use for Respondus and D2L. If you're a Safari user, D2L does not always work wonderful with Safari, especially with uploading your lab reports or downloading your lab reports. Just use Google Chrome. That's going to be your best bet, whether you are working on Mac or whether you're working on HP. That has been the most reliable. So let's talk about some extra credit, right? Might as well. First day of class, let's talk about extra credit. You have a YouTube assignment. So the assignment is a very specific assignment with the possibility for earning more extra credit, right? So it's going to be due by Friday, January the 24th. Here's the link for the instructions. Let's go ahead and click that. It's just another announcements page. So this tells you more about the assignment. If you do not have a YouTube channel, you can make one. Here's how if you're not sure. If you don't want to share your personal YouTube channel, that's fine. You can go ahead and click here. So what you need to do is you need to go to Wellness Rooted in Science and subscribe to Wellness Rooted in Science. You can't see it here because I can't subscribe to myself, but there'll be a subscribe button. After you subscribe, you're going to take a screenshot or take your phone and take a picture, whatever that looks like. Then you are going to upload that screenshot into the YouTube Extra Credit Assignments folder. Let's go ahead and click in there. YouTube Extra Credit Assignments folder. So it looks like this. This is when I actually click into it, but it's right there. And it tells you that the due date for it is January the 24th for the first due date. But if you miss that for the assignment, you still have the 26th. This is for the extra credit piece, and you still have till the 26th. So if you upload it by January the 24th, you will get 5 points for the assignment, which is a required assignment, and you'll get an additional 5 points extra credit. But if you miss that date, you still have until Sunday, January 26th, to get 5 points for the assignment, but unfortunately you have missed your extra credit opportunity. Now, if you miss this due date, then you are going to be in a deficit of 5 points. You missed your very first assignment for the course. If you have any course questions or content questions, you're going to put those questions in my office hours discussion. You're going to leave questions here about biology. And on the flip side, if you have any questions that are personal to you, you're going to email me. That's only for questions that pertain to you. Mrs. Aragon, I'm sick. I'm not able to take this quiz, and here's my doctor's note that shows that I had been sick during the entire open period for that quiz. Okay? If you have a course question, please do not email me. If you have a content question, so if you have a question regarding biology, I don't understand this chemical reaction, okay? You put it in my office hours right here. If you have a course question, Mrs. Aragon, I can't seem to log into Mastering Biology. You put it in my office hours with a screenshot of the problem. Because if you're having the problem, I guarantee you the other 60 people in the class are also having the problem. So that's why you put it there. Please do not email me course questions or content questions. I will email you back saying, please put it in my office hours. And unfortunately, it'll actually take more time to get your answer if you email me course questions. Okay, I'm going to show you the assignments folder again. These are your assignments. Notice they already have all of the due dates set for the semester. I'm going to click into the contents. This is where you're going to find all the information that you need to be successful in this course. So I'm going to go ahead and hit start here, course documents. So the first thing, first day must read. You do that before taking the quiz, syllabus, everything. So Some of this does not apply to you. The syllabus does apply to you. I already opened it once in another tab. Um, Extra credit, dynamic study modules. I've already put your dates for it. Those dynamic study modules, we're going to cover that. That's in the Mastering Biology, which is your textbook supplementals. This is 1 point of extra credit. Okay. They have very specific due dates. If you miss these due dates, you missed your opportunity, but there will always be more future opportunities. Okay, so make sure that you know what those are. They will not show up on the course calendar because Mastering Biology does not feed into the course calendar, so it will not notify you. So let's go to the ebook, the Mastering Biology. So this is going to be where you find your textbook and your Mastering Biology Dynamic Study Modules extra credit. You're going to see your Barnes& and Noble link. Barnes& and Noble, I'm sure you're familiar with that. It's going to pop up and it's going to take you to the publisher. If you just want to look at the book, you hit read now. But I want to caution you, if you need to do the dynamic study modules or see anything else, they have so many wonderful study tools here. Launch the courseware. You can get your book out of this one too. So I always just launch the courseware. So when I do that, notice, so obviously you're not going to see the instructor tools. This got student links. You got the assignments. You could see your scores, e-text, a study area. In that study area, you can make flashcards, you can do practice quizzes, stuff that I don't assign. It's just stuff that you search out. So I'm going to go ahead and click to enter into the mastering assignments. You're going to find an assignment list, okay? You may find it in two different fashions. You might find it in this calendar list. As you can see, we're here, January, and there's your first assignment due, your Mastering Biology 5-point. It's a tutorial. Very simple, to the point, and yes, it is required. This is the only thing that I require on Mastering Biology. Everything else is possible extra credit. So if I go to February, look at that. All of the possible extra credit, chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All of these are open right now at the beginning of the course, but they all have very specific due dates. So you are back in your contents tab. I'll just go ahead and go to the beginning contents tab again. These are your laboratory documents and these are your lecture documents. In your lecture documents, you can see we have all the chapters, okay? With those, when you click into that folder, you're going to have a PowerPoint, you're going to have a PDF. This is just more accessible on a cell phone or a tablet, and so I like to provide both. Chapter objectives. A lot of students say, Ms. Aragon, what am I going to be tested on? What do I need to know? In order to consider yourself knowledgeable of the biology content and this to be a transferable course, this is a list of those things that you need to know for the chapters, okay? So let's go ahead now go into laboratory activities. So these laboratory activities, lab safety, make sure that you are reading this because you do have a lab safety quiz. You will see many different modules. See here graphing resources. Graphing resources, videos on how to graph, guidelines on how to graph PDFs. Look at this, extra graph paper. Let's go ahead and review your syllabus. In our Start Here documents, oh, by the way, have you been collecting all of those animals and writing them down all throughout? Alrighty, if not, you might have to back it up because they will be on the syllabus quiz. Alrighty, so this is your section. You are either in section 1N1 or you are in section 1N2, but we are all together in this course shell. Here are your course dates, January 21st through May 11th of 2025. This is with your day of the week beginning on Monday and your day of the week ending on Sunday. It is to take place asynchronous online guided self-study. That's something we already went over. Here's my instructor information. We went over that also. Important course dates, the start date. Here's an important date, the drop date. The drop date of February the 5th, that is the date that you can drop the course without financial responsibility. Now, the withdrawal date is something different. Once you got to February the 6th, you have already paid for the course. So you might as well just keep going and see what you can learn. And then, hey, if you're not passing or doing as well as you need to do, why don't you wait till the withdrawal date to withdraw? And that way you can get all of the information, continue your learning process. April 17th is the withdrawal date. That is the last date to withdraw from the course and get a W on your transcripts. We do get a break. Can't wait for it. And that's going to be spring break where there are no classes, no online classes either. March 24th through March 30th. The end of the course is May the 11th. So please see your course description. Here's the master syllabus if you need to download that and take that to any future colleges that you're going to be transferring to, in addition with this syllabus. Here are required materials. The textbook. The textbook is already integrated into your D2L course shell. We've already looked at that. Required. It is required that you download Office 365 Word. It is a free download from Pikes Peak. It is not optional. I do not accept any documents in any other format other than this Office 365 Word. And the reason why I don't is because D2L does not accept them properly. They don't load properly. The pictures don't show. The format's all over the place. You'll be missing pictures. So rather than challenging what you can work with, let's just go ahead and work with required, because turning in something that is of another format will earn students a 0 for that document. So also that heads up, Office 365, I briefly mentioned this, does not work with Chromebooks. So if you have a Chromebook, it is not the expectation that you go buy another computer. Um, you will, however, have to do your exams and your labs uh, probably with the on-campus computers, okay, or some other option that you have. It's probably not going to work too well with iPad either. So just kind of letting you know that way you can prepare for what is to come. There will be a required lab kit to be ordered from PPSC Bookstore. I highly suggest you do that day one. All right, so here is what you need. Yes, you need colored pencils. It is a requirement. So, internet requirements. Obviously, you've taken an online course. You do need to have reliable internet. If you don't have reliable internet, you may use the computers on campus, okay? But it is really important to understand that not having reliable internet is not considered an excused absence for missing any due dates, okay? Because the campus does have computers and internet for you to use. And so you need to keep this in mind before continuing enrollment in this online course. So there's lots of links to your resources all throughout the syllabus. I'll let you look at them as you need. And so mastering biology, we already went over how to find it. You'll see more videos on what to do with it. Chromebooks may not work well with mastering biology. So same thing with the browser. You should be using Chrome, Google Chrome as a browser. Those are two different things. Chromebook is a type of tablet, and Chrome is a browser. So I know those words kind of get a little crossed. Alrighty, so our course guidelines. It's really important that you are dedicating 4 hours a week to your lecture material and about 2 hours to your laboratory activities. Some weeks are more heavy on one side, more heavy on the other. But either way, just letting you know, this course is essentially a 6-hour commitment at minimum to this course. So keep that in mind as you are moving forward in the course. Because this is a science majors course, if you recall. And because of that, there is a high expectation. And I don't know how to just really push that through to understand that there's a high expectation in this course because you are the future of our scientists. Okay, so lecture guidelines. All the materials are going to be available on D2L, whether it's directly on D2L or links to any outside resources, but the links will always be available in D2L. There are 6 required class discussions in that discussion board, and I'll open one up in a moment. Minimum of 3 timely participation days. We already went over that. You can review that rubric if you're not sure. We talked about the Mastering Biology Dynamic Study modules. I gave you the list of when they're due, but here's the thought process. If you have a quiz 1 over chapters 1 through 5 that is available on Sunday, the window for taking that quiz is Sunday, February 16th through Wednesday, February 19th. You should have already done those dynamic study modules prior to the opening of that quiz. So the dynamic study modules for chapters 1 through 5 are open since the beginning of the class, but they are specifically due on Saturday, February the 15th, the night before the exam opens. So that will always be the system for the dynamic study modules. So let's talk about those quizzes. There will be 5 chapter quizzes, and the lowest of which will be dropped. Okay, you will find all of those in the D2L quizzes tab. There will be 2 200-point exams, the cumulative midterm exam and a cumulative final exam, each of them 200 points, totaling 400 points. All of those, both of those will be in the quizzes tab, and you will be required to use Respondus. So Respondus is required to be used for both the midterm, the final, and then also the lab practicals. So with your lab guidelines. So this is a quick overview. I'm going to actually make a lab video showing you how to complete your labs and the guidelines. But let's do the overview. Number 1, you need to make sure to get your lab kit purchased from PPSC right away from the bookstore. Okay. Go ahead and read through as you need to. There are no makeup labs. Okay. Labs have very hard due dates when they are due. Appropriate sections in the labs need to be filled out. It is the expectation that students, all students, are going to collect data, analyze results, and participate in any presentations, if applicable, and discussions related to the results of the activity. If the student has an unexcused absence, no credit will be given. Unexcused absence essentially means you didn't turn it in. You didn't turn it in, but you do have a little grace period with a reduction in points. Okay, so let's first talk about excused absence versus unexcused absence. So an excused absence is essentially an emergency. You're sick, not just COVID related, you're sick, okay? Court date, bereavement, illness with the doctor's note. So with that, illness with the doctor's note, your labs are available over a week span of time. And because they're available over a week span in time, your illness needs to extend over that week span of time. Having an illness that's a day or two, that would not be considered an excused absence. And so deployment is also considered an excused absence and definitely needs to be discussed with me on how to successfully navigate the course. With that, students' employment, vacations, sports, or high school obligations, those are not considered excused absences. These are things that you've chosen to take this course, and you need to navigate your outside involvements according to your needs of the course. Keep that in mind. Maybe the course timing is not for you if that is the case. If your employment does not budge and they have you doing 4 overnights during the time that there's a testing window, those testing windows unfortunately will not change. So this might not be the section for you. Okay, so like I said, your Chromebook does not work with D2L assignments, which is essentially the lab reports. Lab reports are due on the following Sunday. If the lab report is assigned on Monday, then it's going to be due that following Sunday at 11:59 in your D2L folder, assignments folder. You are required to use Office 365. Your lab reports must be typed with a contrasting color. From the very first lab report, points will be reduced, and handwritten lab reports are not accepted. Students turning in handwritten lab reports will be given an automatic 0, and there will not be opportunities to redo those lab reports. Okay, so keep in mind, you do get the opportunity to drop one lab report for the class in general. You could see that. One lab report with the lowest grade will be dropped. So usually the first few weeks, I try to really look into the lab reports to see who is not using contrasting color, who is not typing into the lab reports, and who is handwriting their lab reports. If you're not doing the graphs correctly, so you can get that feedback right away. That way you can apply it to future lab reports because there's not any resubmissions of lab reports. These standards are set from the beginning of class, and it is up to the student to adhere to those standards. And if not, points are deducted, or you will earn a 0 for the lab reports. Okay, so if there are any specimens to take pictures of, whether it's specimens in your actual labs that you're doing at home, or graphs, whatever that looks like, you take a picture of those specimens, i.e. drawings or graphs, and then you insert them into the lab report. When I do my lab report video, you will see in detail how to make that happen. You will then upload that lab report to the assignments folder. So with that, you inserted your picture into the lab report. You will upload one complete document. You won't upload a lab report and 5, 6, 7, 8 pictures. If that is the case, if your pictures are not in the lab report, they will not be counted as if you've done them. So failure to do this, students will earn a 0 on the lab. Okay. Because you are in a science course for future scientists, it's really important to learn how to follow instructions and how to follow maybe what may not be the way you want to do things, but the way your teacher, employer, industry, whatever that looks like, how they are requiring you to do it. So it's very important, and it starts here. Okay, whew. Now that the ugly stuff is over, what if I'm late? Guess what? It happens. So if you turned in a lab that is late, you got the first late day, okay, that you've missed the due date and time, you get 20% off per day, up to 4 days. After 4 days, your lab's a 0. Pre-lab quizzes. So the expectations, I'm going to read through this. Expectations are that students are prepared for labs before beginning them. Okay. So this includes not only reading your lab reports, you have to identify safety concerns because you're working at home. And even if you weren't, you need to know the safety of it. Make sure that you have all the materials gathered. Some are in your lab books, some are in your lab kits. Some are going to be stuff you got to go to the store for, like eggs. Okay, so keep that in mind. And then make sure the timing, because since I mentioned eggs, the timing on the eggs, you have to prepare the eggs in several days prior to actually starting the lab. So that is why it is important to know what you're going to be doing at least 1 week prior to completing the lab. Say that way you can gather all your stuff. So with that, every single lab report is going to have a pre-lab quiz associated with it. And those pre-lab quiz are going to be due the week before the lab starts. Okay. Lab safety. Please make sure you look into that lab safety and you are always using lab safety. Lecture attendance. So with that, it is important that you are participating in the course. Okay. So attendance is not enough. You have to be prepared to dig into the information. Okay, you have to be prepared to essentially immerse yourself into the subject. Here is the missed exams, and we already went over what is an excused absence versus an unexcused absence. That holds true for your exams and the entire window of the exam, not just a day. If you have court date on Tuesday, but the exam is open Sunday through Wednesday, that's not an excused absence. So to be clear. Okay. With that, if you have accessibility contract that you would like to use your accommodations on this class, you have to get that contract over to me. It is now the student's responsibility to send that contract over to the instructor. And it has to be a current contract for the semester. I cannot take contracts from previous semesters. So let me know this in the very beginning of the course. Campus closure information. So here's your information for the testing. There is that 4-day window for doing your testing: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. That's your 4-day window. These are required to use Respondus, okay? All your smartwatches, Bluetooth, earpieces, headphones, caps, other headgear are to be removed. Other electronics, phones, tablets, multiple monitors may not be used. Notes may not be used. You can't have somebody on the phone with you. That may not be used. You are required to show your environment in the video. If there is any questionable behavior, you'll just earn a 0%. And the student will just have to make sure their environment and that questionable behavior is better for the next exam. Classroom civility. It is a school policy that students are not allowed to disturb the learning environment of other students. So disrespect for others in the online environment, such as discussion board. So not only for other students, but also for the instructor. It won't be tolerated. There will be one warning. And then after that, an incident report will be filed with the dean of students. And we will just kind of decide where to go from there as far as your future participation in the class. Communication response time. So communication response time is within 24 hours, Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. At 3 p.m., I begin my weekend. Okay. Any emails or messages or office hours messages in the discussion board sent after 3 p.m. on Friday will be responded to the following Monday. Keep in mind, I have a class first thing Monday morning, so you might not get that response until Monday afternoon. All righty, grading policy. This is your total possible points for the semester, lecture and lab included. If in the end your points earn you 90% or above, you have earned an A. If you've earned between 80% to an 89.99999, you have earned a B. Here is your course schedule. All questions in the discussion. Don't wait until Sunday night when something is due to ask me a question. Okay, so it's really important that you are working slightly ahead so you know what questions to ask me. That way you can get all of the help that you need, because that's what I'm here for. Okay, so I look forward to virtually meeting every single one of you. I hope you enjoy your course. It is going to be very challenging, but it's going to be very fulfilling, I promise. All right, bye.